Today we are going to be going back to a study that I have showed already on my channel, crusify. It is a study that is on crusify, but I'm going to share it again today. It is a study on Matthew 27. It is a called when I was sharing the study, it was very hard. I was in captivity, and I had these different things that were going on in my life. I spent a lot of my time at the library in Woodlands, and I would go to the library to go and get books and read. And then I'd spend a lot of my time sharing about the books that I have read. But I find that at WUSU last year, I dropped that a little bit. The whole project was to not only go to an institution that is going to have books that I can read, but also get an education in something that I'm going to be doing long term. And so, as I was thinking of the programming certificate I've already completed at Harvard, I thought to get a degree will quickly put me in space where I work as a software engineer. So that was a whole plan. And when I got the 2 letters last year um, of me exceeding the years since I started the first degree in BSc chemistry in 2015, and when I decided I'm gonna come back after not completing the degree, the first time I did it, it was already over 10 years since I started that degree. And now, since I came back and did another degree, I came back to change the degree from BSc chemistry to BSc physics, which is still in the same majors, it just doesn't have chemistry. I was doing a BSc general, so it allowed that I go and enter into BSc physics and do BSc physics and maths and computer science instead of chemistry. So I had a little bit of flexibility to enter into that course. And when that happened, I just felt very happy that I could. Hello, Maclovia. Hello, Therion. So now there were two courses that I entered into, and so the first one, it almost like just came into the second one. So it is like one course that I'm still studying even today. If I decide to finish it, it will be over 10 years since I started studying that same course. But anyway, I was given 2 letters of exclusion, and I was told to go home for a year and then go back to school if I do decide to go and complete it from next year onwards, even if I passed last year. So last year I did pass. I passed 50% of my modules. And that 50%, I think I was also trying out, since I'd already started Tasha Singh as a Khalid. I was trying out to see if after all of these years that I've stayed away from school, it has been about it's 6 to 8 years, whether or not I was going to be able to enter and be happy and pass. And I came and I entered into school. I was very happy studying and I passed. So the idea now is for me to go back to the drawing board and realize when I first entered into the school, I wouldn't have been so hurt with me leaving the school because I didn't necessarily have a specific pathway for myself. And so the delay of me leaving for a year has meant for me that I either don't complete that degree or I complete it later on once I'm settled in a degree or diploma or certificate that's gonna be a full-time job. So with that, I don't want to waste any more time, and um, and just pretend as if I'm still where I was when I first entered at the school. So with that, I have decided I'm going to stick in the pathway of stitches. The motivations coming from my study of the cleansing of the eyes. I've just browsed through my studies right now, and I went through one of my studies. It is the cleansing of the eyes. I realized the left eye was going through a cleansing from 1989 to the midnight cry, which is 2025. But I realize now it is the left eye when I look at it on my notes, when I draw it on my notes, it is the left eye. But actually, when I turn around and I'm a person looking through, and let's say I'm a sheet of paper, it in fact is my right eye. So it is my right eye. So it's almost like a cross where I need to remember that it is actually my right eye that was being cleansed. Um, this is not necessarily my right eye. It is in fact the right eye of the world. So in this, I take that right eye could mean anything. Um, right in this instant is religion. It is religion. It is Republicans. It is I assume it's secret associations. I would assume, I don't know. It is business. So they have gone through a cleansing. That cleansing has ended. Obviously, now I look on the page, and when I am drawing, it is the right eye going through the cleansing from the midnight cry to, I want to say, Sunday law, but of course, I have put a date there as 2050 just because I'm only going to be so active up until that year, and after that I'm going to be very dormant and just go about my life, even if I will be there as a person who's recognized for this work that I'm doing right now. The right eye, when I'm looking at it in the sheet of paper and I'm drawing it, is getting a temple cleansing, but actually it is my left eye, because when I'm standing like this and I'm a sheet of paper on my face, um, this left eye would be the one that is the right eye when I draw it on the sheet of paper. So left eye to me means, um, hello everyone who's just coming. No, I'm not fighting. Left eye means to me the a lot of things. Um, it means humanitarian aid. It means um, probably higher education, but I don't want to say higher education as such, because the right eye has higher education, but it's higher education within schools like Methodist schools, Catholic schools. So I don't know how it works, because now there is there is like laying over, if you get what I mean. There is a laying over. I look at my sheet of paper and it cleanses me. So I don't know if it makes sense as I'm holding the Bible like this. And the Bible is the mirror. As the law of God is the mirror. So when I look at it like this, it cleanses me. So I don't know. It seems I'm talking about something from a movie or something, but that's literally what I'm trying to say. So if I'm looking at it like this, Um, I know from 1989 to 2025, it was the right eye being cleansed, but the law that was cleansing, that was looking at it cleansing it, was the left eye, or the left side of the issue. And now it is the left eye that is going through cleansing. So the law, or the mirror that is doing this work is the right side of the issue. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share. And then there is a verse I want to read. It's Matthew 23, verse 37. Um, I just need to check if it is what I think it is. Uh, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. That's not the verse I'm looking for. I had a verse that was written down on my notes, and I can't find it. It was Matthew 23, verse 37. But now I'm just left looking. I don't think it is. The verse says, Thou alone art responsible for your destruction. So that's what it says. I want to be clear about the verse itself, because I am very nice, guys. I think I'm nice. Sometimes I can be stupid. So in my stupidity, I can start thinking, oh my goodness, am I responsible for someone else's destruction? No. The verse is very clear. I'm not. If someone is getting destroyed, every single time when I'm studying the prophetic messages, I realize it's their fault. It's your fault. Getting destroyed. It's not my fault. So this is from the perspective of people coming from Jeff's movement and the woke movement, Adventism, and all of these other sections. Because now we're doing the temple cleansing. So it's like God took me and put me out so that I measure. So it just so happened that in 2021 to 2024, people started measuring themselves, and I felt like they were measuring themselves to me. But now I see why it just felt like they were trying to say they're better than me. The ladies in Adventism went into the Democratic Party and they started to promote they're better. Their team blue, they're better. And they started to make fun of me for things that I fail at, things that I'm not good at, to make me feel as if I'm not even a human being. But now I see, as I tell you guys, that when I look on a sheet of paper, I understand that I draw this eye, and it's an eye that is going through a cleansing. But this is the left eye, but then actually it is the right eye that's gone through the cleansing. So the Republican Party probably, and I don't know if they did see, from even just the perspective of one person, you can see what's going on a bigger scale to a group of people. So the Republican Party, the independents, from that point of view, the cleansing has been going on, and it's from the point of view of the left eye being cleansed, and then the right eye gets the cleansing from 2025 to the Sunday law. But obviously, it is the left eye that's going through that. And the left eye is usually the eye for money. It is the eye that is it's saved during the times of the Great Depression. So I don't know how the economy is going to hold up with, but I mean, for years it has been holding up with the Republicans, apparently in America, even though they're extremely, very maybe unkind and so on. But I don't think I'm concerned a lot about that, because there's always a way. There's always a way anyway. That is not something that is within my job to be concerned about. If Republicans are doing this to Democrats, then it doesn't really affect me too much. And if Democrats are doing this to Republicans, those politics are things that don't really affect me, because Democrats, when they are in power, they collaborate with me in a way I don't know, and the Republicans I don't know either, but I know they do collaborate with me, and I still eat, I still enjoy life, so I'm not concerned about any of that. I just can't find the verse, guys. I thought it was 23:37, so I'm looking at 21:37 now. I'm gonna look at 22:37. There is a 37. Okay, and the second verse that I wanted to Sarah, but no, I'm not one mark, guys. I saw these horror movies that are coming out this year. They're so scary. I don't want to be so addicted to horror movies. They will make my spirit um, very jumpy, I feel. Which I think it helps a lot to be very entertaining, I think. Ezekiel 30, this is Ezekiel 39, 39, verse 16, let me see. Yeah, so it says, and also the name of the city shall be Hamona. Thus shall they cleanse the land. This is the verse I couldn't find yesterday. It's actually Ezekiel 39, verse 16. So my crochet business is called Hamona. Selling pineapple hats. I'm gonna show you my pineapple hat. I also have jerseys. My clothes is just a mess, guys. It is a mess. It keeps saying I'm gonna wash them. I'm gonna wash them. It is such a mess. So I have these jerseys. I was gonna sell them um, separately on commission, I think. I'm still gonna work on them because they're half jerseys. They're very lovely. I just feel like they need a little bit more work on the sleeves to make them a little bit bigger. But this one came out really nicely on the sleeves. So I wanted to make these jerseys $150, but then I thought that is a lot of money because of how the wear and tear goes. There's this going on here with the jerseys, and I've been wearing this jersey maybe about 4 times now and washed it maybe about 3 times, and already it's wearing and tearing, so they might end up going down to like 30 something or 40 something dollars, like how they are on Shein, 300 and something rand. And I have my pineapple hat, which is still holding up. I want to show you. So this pineapple hat is still holding up. This one is my hat. My mom loves it so much. I also love it. It's so big. It literally is like very big. It's a very big hat I'm selling. These pineapple hats I sell for 500 rand. They're about 40 dollars on my page on Ko-fi. So this is what Hormone is all about. It's about my crochet art. Usually they're about green in color. They're one color, and this one I just made it multicolor because I was finishing up wool that was left over from other projects. So that's what I do for my Hamona. And then I want to show you also this jersey I wore the other day, but I didn't show you guys. I keep showing you over and over again these items. So this one is a new jersey I keep wearing over and over again. I don't think I've shown you guys. I'm not wearing it today. If you can see, the design is so unique. This is actually calves. This is actually calves, and I converted them to be pockets. So that is the art part, and also these butterfly sleeves. So these butterfly sleeves and the calves are actually supposed to go, it was supposed to look like that jersey, the half jersey, but it ended up being this jersey. It ended up looking like this, but it's also a half jersey, short sleeve half jersey with butterfly sleeves and calf pockets. So you can see also the stitch that I've used. It is for the calves. So yeah, that is what I wanted to show you guys. Because if I was making normal pockets, I would have used this stitch, which is much more quicker, and it wear and tears very quickly. This one, it takes days to make. I can take 2 days to make just this. If you can see, even inside it is the cuff. It's actually long, and then I join it together and it becomes this. And then I just put it on the jersey itself. So it is actually quite um, hard. It is stiff. It is not like a normal pocket. It is a stiff one. Maybe maybe it's good. I don't know. I become scared sometimes because this part, this stitch itself is very soft. So this becomes very heavy on it. That sometimes I feel. I don't know if I put a lot of stuff in these pockets, maybe it might just ruin it. Look at how it looks like already. And I'm just scared it might tear it because of how heavy it actually is as a with this stitch and its cuff and how hard it is. But anyway, I felt for the art of it, it works very well. It is pretty. And so yeah, I'm not selling this jersey. It was just a something I tried out. I am also making a bubonic plague blanket, which I'm going to complete by the end of this year in December. In this bubonic plague campaign, I am campaigning on raising awareness on the bubonic plague and promoting health. So I've done a few talks on my channel, excuse me, on Facebook, and I've shown the work that I have done so far. I have added 2 blocks in the blanket, so now it doesn't have 4 blocks, it has 6 blocks. So by the end of August, I'm going to add 2 new blocks, gonna have 8 blocks. It's already so heavy and so big. I hang it on the curtain so that I can take pictures. It is so big. So I can only imagine once I'm done with it, as it's 5 months left and it's 10 blocks that's going to be added there. I only realize now 50 by 50 is very big. I thought it was going to be small, but the whole reason why the blanket is so big is because even the squares themselves are about 50 by 50. So yeah, that is what I want to share with you guys so that I just keep that going. I have my song I See You. You can go and listen to it on Spotify, and I have my book called um, hot dishes that you can get on Amazon for less than $1, and the ebook and the payback. What is it? It is the paperback. It is guys. The paperback is $12. Okay. I am now reading Matthew chapter 27. I'm spending a lot of my time this year um, just sleeping um, and planning. So I am doing quite a lot of work. I'm going over my studies and I'm doing a lot of work just sleeping and planning. I'm looking at farm jobs. I'm looking at nursing. So next year, I'm looking at moving to America, even if it's for the holiday to go and I want the certified nurse assistant qualification. So yeah, that's something I'm just looking at. I don't know how far that's gonna go, but um, I think after a year of nursing, I want to go and get the certified nurse assistant qualification. Um, just because I have a lot planned for the future after nursing. Obviously I'm already within the private nurse category because of my registered business and because of where I want to be. I think my registered business makes me a private nurse. So I think I'm just in favor of being an independent contractor in everything I do. So I don't know whether Melamisi, this registered business, is going to be the business I use to be hired as an independent contractor. I don't know. But I am going to be merging my work. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. But because Queen of Amman for America, um, I'm not just alone, I'm representing a brand. So when I am working as a nurse, I'm going to be representing Melamizi and Kofkofa Semiliga. So I want to bring them into one place. And I'm looking at Meta. Has done this thing where they started out as Facebook. For years they went on and then they came together and they became a Meta, and Meta became a one business that joins Facebook and all these other businesses as one big business. So it's almost like a firm. So I'm looking at things like that, and I think I don't know how I'm going to be because I'm representing myself also. Uh, Everything that I'm doing, I think it is in line with my work. I went on Tango and I was a stripper on Tango, and that was representing the work that I was doing as Esther. Esther, she went in and she did a few things, activities, naked for Ahasuerus. So I went in on Tango and I was out there in Tango is predominantly coming, it's a predominantly American company. So I was out there and I was doing a lot of nude, nude activities on Tango. I was a stripper. My friend was a stripper when I was working as a stripper on Tango, and we were strippers together, and we earned by being strippers. Then after that, I decided, okay, maybe it is enough time I've spent as a stripper. After I also stripped for a couple of guys, including Muslim men. So yeah, I thought they were not interested that much. They just thought I was cute. One guy thought I was so cute. I'm a virgin. I'm stripping for him. He could just see from the onset that I'm a virgin. He asked me if I'm a virgin. I said yes. And already gave me, he was already giving me flowers and everything, but he didn't have any other requests. He was just like, oh, wow, okay, so lovely, well done. And then that was that, but he didn't say a lot about that. I'm so gassy, guys. Oh my goodness, I keep rubbing my back. My back just feels so sore sometimes. I keep rubbing my back so much. As I just burp and then I felt a little bit and then a lot of gas just comes out, you know. Oh, this morning I asked my mother to pull my arms. She pulled my arms a little bit and I just felt so much better on my back. Just the clicking just felt so nice. Um, Matthew 27, guys, is very long. I started talking about Matthew 27 and realized how long it actually is. Um, this is the verse, in fact, it is the chapter that talks about a caldama. A caldama is a field full of blood. So I'm going to just read from verse 1 to verse 29 and then we stop there. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, What is that to us? See thou to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple, and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priests took the silver pieces, and said, It is not lawful for to put them into the treasury, because it is a price of blood. And they took counsel, and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, Thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would, and they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto them, Whither of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate saith unto them, What shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why, what evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just man. See you to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him, and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him, and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! So there are many things that is going on here. Um, this field full of blood is a caldama. Um, I'll have to find the study now because in the study it specifically said um, it is a caldama, which directly means a field full of blood. So yeah, there are many things that are happening here, guys. Matthew 27. What I said in, I think, let me just close it. What I said in 2024 is the understanding that I had was that a caldama being a field full of blood, in this text it's called the potter's field. It was called the potter's field. And in the potter's field, um, I looked and I saw the work that was happening with the cleansing of the right eye. I come in and I have my messages of the Taliban insurgency, and I can see what's going on now. So cleansing the temple starting from 2021 to 2024 is the first temple cleansing. With that first temple cleansing became a temple cleansing for the right eye, which really doesn't put Jeff Oettinger at the focus. It puts the Republicans at the focus and not really President Trump. It is just Republicans generally and independents. And they are mocked and ridiculed, they are cleansed. Um, and whatever it is, the Democrats decide they're gonna do, they did it. And when that happens, I can see that um, I don't know what I'm going to say, but from 2024, the understanding was that the abortion rights and abortion laws, um, they were a direct attack on traditional views and beliefs, especially on people who are believers of God, um, or believers of Christian beliefs, believers in the Bible. Because the promotion was abortion. It was abortion, and abortion seems to be something that is a surgical. It is a surgical. Just it is for surgery purposes when something wrong really has happened. But it was glamorized as something you can do for leisure. You can just go and sleep around and then you have babies, and if you don't want those children, you just kill them because you don't want them. And it's like, yeah, it's okay, you can do that. And then President Biden says something. He says, "Let me scrape that womb," and so whoa. When they scrap the womb, and I become a little bit concerned, because was I gonna scrape a womb? And I'm thinking, this is probably my womb. I'm the one who is going through I knew I was, as a priest, I'm the one who's in Jeff's movement. We are the ones that are going through a cleansing from 2021 to 2024, and that ended. But when it was happening, I knew that when President Biden says scrap the womb, he's talking about my womb, you know. I came out with my messages from 2020, and I already understood that whatever was going on social media, 2021 to 2024 was a direct attack on my body as a person who has their bodies open up by God, allowing for a temple cleansing to take place. And as soon as I read and understood on these cleansings of these eyes, from me just realizing the eyes are an avenue to the soul. It's avenues to your body, and with them being avenues to your body, it could be that the eyes are being cleansed, but um, because of how big the work actually is, if there are two temple cleansing, there are two eyes, it could be just one eye at a time. So looking at the first eye being the messages of Jeff, he seems to be mainly on the side of the right, with his messages being predominantly based off of religion. And my messages seem to be based off of a lot of things that are tending towards liberal views. So I do state I am a liberal Republican, um, So, with my liberal progressive views, I sometimes feel that my messages are tending towards that side. And Trust's messages are more conservative, even though he's not going to say, but they're not necessarily liberal. So they tend towards the side of religion to a greater extent, and my messages don't tend towards the side of religion to a greater extent. And I find that the many people who collaborate with me on my messages or toilets and other things are things who are people who are not believers in the word of God. They are people who believe in progressive liberal views coming from institutions of higher learning and um, humanitarian aid activities to make the world a better place. So, so with that, when I was going through cleansing, I understood very well the the perspective of this cleansing. It was on the perspective of Jeff's messages, and that's why Adventism was so prominent. They're not so prominent now, they are going downhill because um, their views of how they were against Jeff are not widely accepted in Republican societies. And so that's what they're coming to realize. They're not so publicly accepted as they were with Democrats. And so they can see they're going downhill. Um, the whole laughing after a person who's a reformer, um, whether they're wearing long skirts or they keep their hair natural or they don't shave or shave as a matter of joking around um, against a person or something, because they are reformers, because they're independents, because they're Republicans is not so widely accepted now because the people who are prominent now doing a cleansing are these very people, the people who believe in keeping babies rather than aborting them, unless it is for surgery purposes. Those are the people doing a cleansing now. So they are waking up and they realize um, that that's what's going on, and they're looking away to say that Republicans don't have money, Republicans and traditional women, traditional wives, traditional this. And the thing is, 25 years, very long time. This is going on for 25 years. And so I don't know how much cleanup the left eye actually needs. But what I think is that even Ellen White could have been a Democrat. So that's one thing that I look at and I think is something that is a little bit um, interesting because the Democrats wake up in 2025 and they look at me and I don't look like how I looked like in 2021 where they could just do whatever they liked and they extremely abused me. They abused me, they ill-treated me. And I look and I can see on my studies that my guardians in 2021 to 2024 was people in the world. It was the presidents, the kings and queens in the world. Um, and it was outside of America. So, besides America, everyone else besides America. So, America is standing alongside the Middle East. So, besides the Middle East also. So, my guardians 2021 to 2024 was everyone else besides the Middle East and America. And that's how I was treated. So I felt as I feel. Maybe it was promoted by trying to say King Charles is this and that, I don't know. But it's going to be evident now whether or not that's exactly what people meant because um, all of these things that were being promoted about King Charles, King Frederick, Queen Margaret, um, Queen Maxine, and King Felipe of Spain, all of these things are going to be promoted again. And unfortunately, now my guardians have changed, and my guardians now it is America and the Middle East. So my guardians now are my guardians who are my actual guardians, and they remain my guardians my entire life. And now it is a little bit different because I don't understand what was going on 2021 to 2024. And these are the type of answers that are going to be answered. What was going on, you know, because there are so many leaders in the world, but in my body, I was wrecked. I was wrecked. And I feel it would have been far better if I didn't have my guardians than having my guardians just wreck me worse than people who were prominently against me. So that's how I feel because my guardians became my worst enemies in the 4 years when they should have been keeping me safe. They didn't keep me safe. It was a captivity and it felt like a captivity for one person. It just felt like I'm the one here and yet I'm not. So yeah, that is something that I look at in the 4 years and I still feel like it is something I haven't healed from um, because of how painful it actually was and how confusing how confusing it actually was. So now 2025 to 2050 and it's going to be all of these countries, France and Italy and Germany and Belgium and Denmark and South Africa, Zambia and Uganda and all of these countries except the Middle East and America. Now I have guardians and I stated my guardians even on my social media account. But irrespective of whether or not I know my guardians, um, and irrespective of knowing my guardians when I am now fully settled in my work, I'm out of a captivity. Um, I think it is important for me to be settled in these things. Um, Today we are doing a Kaldama, and and the Kaldama has Judas there. Starts out with Judas. Judas sells Jesus Christ for 30 pieces of silver, and then when he's going through his trial, when Jesus Christ is going through his trial, Judas runs back to the priests in the temple, and these are the priests who are Israel. They're they're Jews. So in 2016, from 2015, I told you the story. There was a lady who was interested in a guy using, I am using one of my jerseys, my mother's jerseys, as a blanket. It is so cold. I have socks on socks, and yet it is like I am not wearing anything. Putting my legs on the bed. Excuse me. There was a lady who liked a brother who was leading us in the movement. That lady is married now, and the brother has a child and is just settled in his home. That is okay. When this whole work was going on, the lady didn't like me. She didn't know she was going to meet a man later on in life and get married to him. But back then, well, she didn't know that she was doing a few activities of flirting with the brother. While the brother was interested in me, I shared about that. Activities of um, being very strict about how she didn't like the 25-20, which was one of our doctrinal understandings. So that was okay. The sister, she became chairperson. I think she was already chairperson already. And the sister then from there, she reported us. She reported us, and it seemed she was the one who tipped off us. So now it was almost like we were being rebels. We were being reported. She betrayed us. The brother seemed to be working as a teacher of prophecy a few afternoons under her guidance. Because she accepted it as chairperson, um, then he could do that, but otherwise she didn't accept the messages and could tell on him anytime. And so I think the brother was just holding up on that relationship because he was probably scared he was going to get into trouble, and maybe just holding it up because he knew he probably was on a line, could get kicked out anytime. I didn't know that. I come into the movement, and the sister is doing these flirt activities, and I don't understand what she's doing. But she knew where she got her confidence from. The confidence was coming from knowing that she could kick us out anytime from the church itself, and destroy our lives. And when it comes to us being having our not our citizenship, but having our membership in the church. And so she knew she could destroy us, just kick us out anytime. And so I had to tolerate having a sister flirt with a man that I was in a relationship with in front of me without wondering whether or not that was right in public at church. And I did, to see all of these things. I know that she was confident because she knew what she was going to do to us the following year, and she did. The following year, the sister herself, she goes and tips us off. She's a chairperson, and she calls in a woman pastor who comes in and kicks us out of the church. And one of the main things that the sister kept talking about was whether or not women should be wearing head coverings in the church. So I'm talking about a Judas here. To have a group of people promoted or motivated by ideas of loving a man, or how small someone is, or how little or how big they are, how educated they are, it doesn't remove them from being a Judas. You want to be a Judas, you be a Judas, an educated Judas. An uneducated Judas, if you're a Judas, you're just a Judas wherever you are. And that is what they were. There's a Judas, and I'm talking about the Judas. They sell you for money, sell you for education, sell you for anything to kick you out so they can stand above you in whatever it is that they want to hold up and say they have better than you. So it was a better opportunity, and I didn't see it back then. I looked at it back then and I didn't see it. I was wondering, why is the sister flirting with this guy so much? And I even asked the brother, but we are in a relationship, but the sister's flirting with you. What's going on? So that is a Judas. It didn't start when the ladies in Adventism were promoting what they were promoting on Facebook 2021, saying Mamela, Mamela, Mamela this and Mamela that. It didn't start there. It started a long time ago with all of these people doing this, and it doesn't matter. It's a guy that is liked. Is it a woman who feels that you shouldn't be with a guy that they like? Is it you should be kicked out of the church? It doesn't matter what it is. If you're Judas, you're Judas. So Judas runs off. He hangs himself. He hangs himself. The sister, one sister from the sisters who were busy on Facebook in 2021. One of the sisters was a doctor. She came to learn of all these things we're doing, and she started to do the very same things. She sees we are wearing long skirts, she's wearing long skirts. She sees we are vegetarian, she gives up meat, she's a vegetarian. She sees we are doing all these things, she's doing all these things. She's crucifying herself, and no one said anything to her. No one said anything. They take her in 2016. I was deputy chairperson, and one guy who was in her class in medicine was our chairperson. And she became chairperson of Adventism. We were kicked out of Adventism. And she is crucifying herself the whole time. They hanged themselves. They wanted us closer, closer, closer. On Facebook, they are coming closer, closer, closer. I say they're Jesuits, but they think I'm saying they're Jesuits because I'm trying to be closer to the association. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be closer to the association. I'm talking about the association. I say they are Jesus. And they say they didn't say anything about that. I say that is Jesus. There is Emmanuel. There is Jesus Christ the anointed, and there's Jesus, the secret association of Jesuits. They say I'm talking evil things on Facebook, conspiracy theories. They come closer, closer, closer. They want to look like me, but they're not me. And then they say they want to have money. They want money. They're Democrats. They were cleansing me. It was a cleansing. That was yesterday. That was so yesterday. Now it doesn't apply. And not just talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Now it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. So when they try to come close, and they think that they're going to be promoted as they were from 2021 to 2024, and they find they're not promoted now, no one cares about what they were doing. They are very disappointed. They're going downhill. So that is that common hole that the verse is talking about, that downhill. The Judas, when they said Jesus Christ this and that, Jesus Christ. And then it is Pilate, and then the Jews go on. So I understand it's Adventism. I understand it's a work on Facebook to when they were rising up. I said yesterday that they were rising up as Jews. It seems as if they're rising up to kill their enemies, but that has nothing to do with me as a type of an Esther because they immediately had, first of all, cut me out before they could do all of those things. So it has nothing to do with me as an Esther, even if they say it is. The people who become people I recognize are rising up and will continue to rise up even after 2024 is Islam. It is the Taliban insurgency. It is Islam. Chaos continues in the world and continues to rise up in chaos. Civil unrest continue and wars continue and they rise up even the more in the world. So it seems that is that revenge and avenge God's talking about. But when you look at the work that was going on 2021 to 2024, you could have just thought that the ladies themselves were taking the world by storm. But they quickly went back to the Adventist church and let go of political views that they didn't understand very well where they were leading from 2022 when Queen Elizabeth passed away. They just faded away into the background, went back to Adventism, and and it doesn't seem as if they have anything they want to say in politics that much, except promote the EFF, which I don't know what that has to do with anything. So, guys, that is what I'm sharing today. It is a Kaldama. Barabbas is directly means son of the father, and Barabbas is President Biden. I said, son of the father because he is a son of the father. Um, the son here is actually Hunter, and the father here is President Biden, and that is the Barabbas situation. And now we run through Hunter being Esau, and the whole deception of whether or not Hunter has been deceived and his inheritance has been taken the 4 years, and you can wonder who could have done that. Who is that Jacob? So that is that story. And then Jesus Christ now comes in and Barabbas is promoted. That whole story becomes very important. Then Jesus Christ comes in. It is Jesus Christ. Christ is the anointed. And so it is either the prophetic messages or it is um, the light coming from former President Thabo Mbeki. If you remember him, I talk about him very, very often when I'm talking about Jesus. But I recognize the Pontiff Leo is born. So in 2023 and 2024, I was speaking a lot about Jesus and Jesus Christ. And I was sharing how President Thabo Mbeki is actually Jesus, representing Jesus. Of course, I say there are connections to these areas. It's a group of people, it's not just an individual. And so, as representatives, I say, and I understand that he is a Jesus. But the Pontiff Francis is a Jesus Christ, he is anointed to sit there. Um, and many, many different ways we can prove that. But now the Pontiff Leo is born, and as he is born, he is a Jesus Christ, and President Thabo Mbeki is a Jesus. But I think the most important part now, so I'm talking about the temple cleansing, is the promotion of what President Thabo Mbeki thinks about world issues than it is. about whether or not the Pontiff Leo really cares about the children that are dying in the world. So that is our guy, President Thabo Mbeki, right now. But I haven't been posting, I haven't been sharing his content a lot. I don't know about it. I haven't been sharing his content a lot, but he has a lot to say. He has a lot to say. But I think one thing that stands apart for me that I want to talk about a lot more is that President Thabo Mbeki um, is together with a brother of his, and the brother is a white brother. He is in Harvard. So this has been publicly shared on in the news that the brother is at Harvard, and so um, we are sitting there at the geek is to inherit the world. So you must remember that Jesus was, it's like he's just a setter of an environment. Um, and the way we see what is actually happening is with the people themselves. What did the people do? And that's what the Bible talks about. The people came. This person came with the child, and then that person came with the person. And it is not necessarily Jesus Christ. And what did Jesus do? So, the most important place that we're sitting is back at CS50 for me, back at Harvard, and we're saying this geek show inherits the world. We're talking about Professor David Mailer. And that's where we're going to be sitting pretty much the entire 25 years, which is crazy. You can imagine. So, yeah, guys, that's where I'm sitting at least. I have to recognize it is the promotion of Harvard and Ivy League institutions in America. What do they have to say about world issues? And MIT is sitting here at WUSU, and I don't know if they kicked me out because of world issues. Yes, dear. She must go, she must go. But guys, yeah, it's just crazy. It's really crazy, but you can get it. You can get what I mean. Anyway, that is Matthew 27. We have looked at it. The governor's wife says she's getting horrors out of this man, with this Barabbas. She says there's horrors, and he is hairy. That's what the Bible talks about with Esau. He's hairy. You can imagine what he looks like. The son of the father is hairy, and he is big. He is not really, he's rough. He's not really so tender looking like Jacob. She's getting horrors out of him. He does not even appealing to look at. He's a thief, he's a thug, he is a murderer, he's all of these things, and he's not appealing to look at. So, yeah, he's rough, he is worldly, he is all of these things, and look at him, he's coming out. And Jesus Christ is going in. So, Jesus Christ says you must be, what is it? You must be as harmless as doves, but as sly as snakes. So you can already see that Jacob was a little bit like Jesus Christ. And Jacob's name becomes Israel. It changed to Israel. So the ladies in Adventism, they deceived. They really did. And they saw me. You can look at me right now. You can see. I've been like this for quite some time. I'm not the cleanest lady around, but I think my art and everything, it really does paint a picture of someone who is not only talented, but I am not so bad looking, but I'm not the prettiest lady in terms of being tender and so soft in my features. My features are not so soft. My legs themselves, they're not pins. Um, they are they are tender in a way I feel because of the plump. But the ladies in Adventism, they are very tiny. They're small. They're very tall, and they are very small. Even when you look at them and their faces, they're very small. When you look at me, I come across also sometimes as if I am a little bit older, as if you must trust me. Yes. And my hair, you can see it is a little bit rough, and I'm not so the cleanest. And they would put on weaves, they look very clean, they look very, very good. So the deception there is very, very big. The AI, I'm trying to look like a cartoon, and all of these things, the makeup, they have all of that going on there. So yeah, guys, I'm not even just comparing whether or not they're beautiful than me or prettier than them. I'm just trying to show you that the Barabbas and the Jesus Christ very real. So yeah, that is unfortunate because the Commonwealth now is up and it's not even gonna be seen. It's not even gonna make any difference for at least that side of the issue because of how much work they've done in the 4 years. This is like the 2 years, I think. So yeah, guys, that's the end of my life, and I hope to see you in the next one. I'm gonna continue with a Kaldama, and hopefully, in a continue with a Kaldama, I talk a little bit more on a Kaldama within the perspective of the womb. And I also want to finish up 30 because I was 30 last year, and that could mean something from the literal point. Literal fulfillment, I was literally 30 last year, and Just Movement was literally 30 years old in 2019. So 30 becomes a frequently occurring symbol. So with that, guys, I hope to see you in the next live. Goodbye. Oh,